Priam, former king of Troy. How's everybody doing today?
King Priam, what's the deal with Paris?
I'm sorry, my hearing's a little bad these days. Could you speak up?
King Priam, what's the deal with Paris?
Well, Paris was always a special child. And actually, I didn't even fully witness his childhood. We were told to kill him. He was prophesied to bring doom upon Troy. But my wife and I were unable to kill our son. We sent him away with a trusted friend. He also couldn't bring himself to kill the child, so he left him to die in the wilderness. However, Paris was tougher than we expected and was brought back alive. We banished him so he wouldn't destroy the kingdom and fulfill the prophecy, and didn't really hear much from him afterwards. Yes?
Why did he steal Helen from the Greeks?
Why
did he steal Helen from the Greeks?
Apparently there was a beauty contest amongst Athena, Hera, and Aphrodite, which Paris was the judge. He chose Aphrodite, and she promised him the love of Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world. For some reason, he was under the impression that it was okay to kidnap her. And she happened to be married to the king of Sparta, Menelaus, which caused some problems. Yes?
Tell me about Hector. Why was he your favorite?
Hector, favorite? Well, I wouldn't say he was my favorite son, just that he was much, much, much better than all the others. Hector was always the best warrior. He was honorable, brave, and virtuous. I never saw him run from a fight, well, except for on his fateful last day. Yes?
What was you and Hecuba's reaction to Hector's decision to battle Achilles?
Well, we kind of lost it. We knew that he would not survive the battle, after all. Achilles is immortal. Hecuba she was broken. Honestly, she hasn't been the same since. The loss of her favorite, or beloved son was too much. It was the worst day of my life. I pleaded and begged Hector to return to the city, but alas, he would not listen. He believed it was his duty and destiny to fight the impossible battle. Yes, yes.
Sir, what were you doing as Achilles mutilated your son's body?
That's putting it a little harshly. I wouldn't put it so much like
that. I would.
Well then, I was mourning his death with Hecuba when I heard a commotion. I looked out over the walls through my tear-filled eyes and to see a grand chariot driven by Achilles racing around my walls. Hecuba pointed out to me that someone was being dragged along the ground behind the chariot. As it grew nearer, we recognized the body. It was Hector, barely. He was torn apart and mangled. Hector's death hurt us all, but the worst part was when Andromache had to change her Facebook status to widowed. Yes, the young man in front.
After Hector's body was taken to the Greek camp to rot, it was reported that you attempted to buy his body back. Did you succeed?
Well, that is what happened, but no, it was to no avail. Achilles totally refused to talk, and would accept no amount of ransom or money. He hurt my feelings. Wouldn't bury Hector. Yes.
Then how did you eventually get the body back?
I'm sorry?
Then how did you eventually get the body back?
Well, Zeus finally pitied me and sent Hermes to guide me into the Greek camp. I met with Achilles and convinced him to return my beloved son to his rightful place. Achilles actually went out of his way to make it up to me, cleaning Hector, giving him nice clothes, and finally inviting me to dinner. Granted, it was a very awkward meal, considering that this was the man who had dragged my son behind a chariot, but it was a good meal, nonetheless. Lastly, he prepared me a bed, so I could stay the night. Yes?
Sir, is it true that Hermes appeared to you in your sleep?
Yes, that night Hermes, the great god, approached me and gave me warning of the danger I was in. Being the king of Troy, Greek's enemy, The results would be devastating if I were to be captured. The ransom would be priceless. I mean, Achilles had hidden me to avoid discovery, but Hermes was not satisfied with these precautions and told me to leave at once. So, in the dawn, I hopped on the chariot with Hector's body and rode for Troy in the rising sun. Yes.
How did the people react when they found out that Hector's body had been returned to Troy?
They were delighted, in a way. I mean, not a soul was unhappy that they could finally properly mourn him. But it's not like people were dancing with joy. We had just lost the greatest hero of Troy. Mourners actually blocked my path as I entered Troy. Were so persistent I had to send them away to reach the palace. Yes.
Sir, one more question. How were you able to mourn Hector's death, even though there was a war going on outside of you?
Well, it seemed that the terrible Achilles did have a heart, albeit a small, cold, and black one. It demanded that the war be put aside for 10 days, giving us ample time to mourn the great Hector.
Thank you, sir, for coming in.
Yes.
I did that a lot, actually. Because I'm not certain. I don't know.